Warning. We're going to be talking about The Witcher seasons 1, 2, and season 3, part 1. So if you haven't seen it or you don't want to be spoiled, turn this off right now. There's your warning. Bourbon Player 1 starts right now. Oh, what a stick! Oh my. All right, guys, welcome to Bourbon Player 1. We have a very special video for you this week. Joining us is Mr. Nick Artis, host of the Poor Decisions podcast. Nick, thanks for joining us, man.
Oh yeah, you said host. I'm a co-host.
Co-host, sorry, co-host.
Nick Artis here. I am an OCR athlete. I like to train and run, and then I'm a professional bourbon drinker.
Speaking of bourbon drinking, well, first time on the show, but we always start the show off with, what are you drinking this week? So tell us what you got.
I have a Boone County single barrel selection, hand selected by our bourbon club, Buckeye Bourbon Club.
Yep.
And so as you mentioned, the podcast Poor Decisions, we thought it was a good idea to start a podcast to talk about running, bourbon tasting, and then, poor decisions that you make while you're drinking. You've been on
Yeah,
the show before.
there are lots of poor decisions that can happen. That's a whole another episode we could film on poor decisions.
Well, when we kickstart off recordings again, we're going to have you back on, and hopefully you'll be a co-host, right?
Hey there. There you go. We are drinking in the we're obviously not in front of our bourbon cabinet tonight, because we're recording this a little ahead of time. But we are in the gaming vault today. But we brought up with us some 2XO. Beautiful, beautiful bottle, by the way, but some Innkeeper's Blend. Uh, just delicious stuff. So having a good night with that.
Oh,
Mm.
what does it taste like? That looked like a
Oh,
delicious sip there.
oh, it was. It's first off, 2XO is super underrated, I think. I don't know why more people aren't just how it's not flying off shelves faster. I can still go find bottles on the shelf.
Well, don't advertise it like that. We want to still be able to find it.
I
We'll buy
mean,
it.
there's bottles everywhere, but yeah, it's a blended. It's not a traditional. It's been created. Master distiller blended it all up, but it's just one that I feel like I could open and just drink it, like no problem. Dangerous.
So back in November, there was a bottle back at that house during our 24-hour race, and I think we put a hurting on that bottle, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was the first one that we blew. And I want to say the next morning before brunch, if you remember, Scott had a bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that went pretty quick. So delicious, delicious bourbon.
Yes, it is. Um, we are going to this week. If you paid attention during the opening, if you didn't, then shame on you. I'll say it again for you. We are going to be going into The Witcher season 3, part 1. So we're going to be asking some fun questions to talk about, specifically right at Nick, who is super ready to answer all these questions for us like an expert he is. um, but hey, just one more time, in case you didn't pay attention, we are going to be talking about season 1 most likely, things from season 2 most likely, definitely season 3 part 1. So if you don't want to know what's going on, if you haven't watched The Witcher or you care about spoilers, turn this off right now. Go watch for all 3 seasons of The Witcher. Come back. You're welcome. And if you don't care, then you've been warned, and I don't want to hear about it. So don't leave me a comment below. That being said, let's get into The Witcher season 3 part 1. All right, so we are going straight into some questions here. That's what we're going to talk about. We may miss a lot of stuff in the seasons, and that's okay, guys, because we can't spend all day talking about this. That's a lot. But first things first, let's talk about the White Flame. End of season 2, we found out that is Ciri's father, still alive, still apparently being not good anymore. So that's fun. But what is going on? Season 3, we got to see him a lot more. What's the ultimate goal? What's his plan? Take it away, Nick. Talk to me.
I'm still trying to figure that one out. That's like a well hidden secret from I think the writers of the show. I mean, season 1 it started off, he was cursed, broke the curse. He thought he was a good dude. Then season 2 comes on, it's like, oh, he killed his mother-in-law essentially.
Yeah.
All in the hot pursuit of his daughter. So we don't know why he wants his daughter or what relation that has to all the spires and monsters coming out. But he's up to something. My thoughts are that he's looking to use Ciri as a power source for something, but just don't know what. probably
Yeah,
to, you know, wipe out the rest of the elves and take over the rest of the lands. Who knows?
yeah.
That one's well hidden.
I mean, it has to dive a little bit, just to add on there. It has to dive into series power. He didn't seem like he was super power hungry in the first season. I mean, second season, obviously, we now know he is.
Yeah.
Um, you know, but
Yeah.
like he has to know her powers. Maybe he's even heard that, I'm sure he's heard that his daughter has his wife's powers. And that's how he's going to take over, how he's going to rule with an iron fist. I mean, I don't have the answers to that. And obviously the show's done a really good job so far on camouflaging what his real plan is, kind of from what I've seen. So
And and is
you know,
that whole that whole weird relationship where he knows that he promised Siri to Geralt. So I I don't know how that works either. Because he's obviously trying to hunt for Geralt and take him out,
yeah.
constantly sending assassins after him. So
Well, I mean, if Geralt dies, I mean, the promise isn't kept anymore, right? So then
correct.
he's not tied to that and bound to it. So that could be part of his plan
Like,
too.
or that's the only threat towards him, right? So
hmm So speaking of plans, one of the big ones that we still don't have anything about, just like the White Flames plans for Ciri, the Mage Tower, Terran and the monster. There's a lot to unpack right here. There's a lot that happened. Um, what is going on with the memories, with Terran thinking that she's Ciri? I mean, I have some ideas. I'll go into them here in a second, but I want your initial takes first, bud.
all right, so obviously somebody's doing some kind of mind control and trying to figure out if they can mind control Siri. Um, Honestly, all fingers point to Stregobor, right? As he did that experiment, that points to him to doing that experiment, kind of doing the mind control. But I don't think it was Stregobor. I feel like
Okay.
he's done a lot of wrong, and he's a terrible person. And if people don't remember Stregobor, he was season one, um, first episode, I believe, where he was hiding from, I forget the character's name, the lady that Geralt ended up killing in the town.
Oh yeah.
So Stregobor, and then he turned the townsfolk against Geralt. So messed up dude. I didn't like him then, don't like him now, but I still don't think that he's the main architect behind that. Um, because obviously somebody in that mage tower is mind controlling some of the other mages. Um, like I think Vilgefortz is under mind control right now. But I don't know exactly who's doing it, but somebody else is definitely to blame.
Let,
What are your thoughts?
let me pose that. So what do you think about someone created this girl and the monster is just there to, I honestly think, just guard it. I don't think there's any more to that. So that may be sloppy writing from the show or whatever, but
Well,
I think the monster's there.
because the monster is there for a whole 5 minutes.
Yeah. But I mean, what if Philippa and Dijkstra, like, sorry if I butchered that name, everybody, but whatever. What if like their plan all along was to, get these memories into these girls, and then turn it into the White Flame, like for a big reward or for power or for whatever it might be. I mean, I don't know. That's just kind of where my mind went.
Okay, that's not a bad idea. I thought some of that too. Is it somebody trying to pretend like that is Siri that they can use as a a shock and awe distraction?
hmm
So
the whole time when I saw that girl, I even said it right then. I was like, this is a something to get the White Flame to think this is his daughter, to get him done, to get him away. Like, so he's not power anymore. He's not doing his stuff. Like, that's kind of where I thought it was going. Could be wrong. But just
so what do you think about there were how many girls were down there? Three?
there were three trapped already,
Yeah,
plus her who's going to be trapped, but she had the memories. So
she had the memories, right? Do you think the other three were failed and then turned into that monster just as a supplement? Because it looked like they just kept being combined into that thing. And
mhm.
my assumption would be they were turned into that thing because they were failed to take on the memories, failed to act like her, maybe.
Yeah, I mean that's the kind of I mean it's a great idea. So if she would have failed, you know, would she have just gone to the monster and there'd been another girl? So then they're just kept on going. I mean I don't know.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Obviously, obviously they were successful because
Yeah.
she had the memories. That's it was working. So
And and she did mention the so now we're taking a detour. She did
Yeah,
mention
that's okay.
the lady with the creepy voice, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, I forget her name. Do you remember? I'm gonna have to look it up.
I don't. I'll have to look at it, yeah.
She's the mage with the destroyed face. Is that
Oh,
Lydia? Is that her name? No, no, no. Lydia is a different character.
no, that's what was her name? Man, I don't know. She can't talk. Like
She well, if she
her
moves her
face is an illusion.
yeah. So if she moves her lips, then it'll show her true face. So she
Mm-hmm.
doesn't move her mouth.
Yeah.
So she has something to do with it as well.
I think that is Lydia. Like I'm
It
pretty
is
sure that's Lydia. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hold on. I'm gonna just yeah, so Lydia was her name.
okay. Okay, good. I got the right one.
Definitely no cuts right there, right to
Nope.
it.
Got it.
um anyway, so yeah, that's part of that question there. Now let's talk a little bit. We're gonna do two more questions because I don't want this to be super long, but let's do two more. Let's go to let's talk about
I
the
got it.
mission.
Yeah,
So
Francesca. Yeah,
Kahir and Francesca, that's like the next.
Francesca is the Elven Queen.
Yes.
Yeah, so she's been assigned with a mission. They didn't say what that mission was, so that's
Nope.
what we're supposed to find out in the second half of season 3. What do I think it is? Probably infiltrate Geralt, assassinate him, grab Ciri and run. That's my assumption.
Well,
Um,
that definitely seems ambitious.
that's all they can do, right?
Yeah. I don't know. It's definitely like
Because he's always been charged with finding Ciri. So I don't think it's going to deviate much other than that, or it could be trying to trick the mages to fall for another trap. But
yeah,
it's something along those lines to directly time with Siri.
it's definitely a very like it's interesting. It's a weird one. Um I mean I think it factors in maybe even a little bit. And this it was a question I was going to talk about later, but we were going to run out of time. So I was tied in here like what if they're going to find the wild hunt?
Oh, okay, okay.
Like
You
what if
think so?
what if they're going to go and for the white flame and list the wild hunt to get Siri?
That's a good proposal.
Like I mean we haven't seen the white flame in season 3 yet. So that's something that honestly I think is they have to show up. They're a big part of the ending of season 2.
Yeah.
And we just haven't seen them. So they have to show up in part 2 um of season 3. So we are running out of time. I know we've got other things that we have to get done today. But let's get one more question here before we let you go, Nick. I want to talk lastly, cut right there. I want to talk lastly and finally about Prince Radovid. So I want to talk a little bit about Prince Radovid. Last question, we're running out of time.
Okay. Okay.
Um, so I mean, however your feelings may be, he definitely had a relationship that was going on there with Yaskier.
Yep.
That happened. Now I'll take it first, and I'll hop it to you because you've been going first a lot. I definitely think that was just to get what he needs. I mean that was just all a ploy to get what he wants and what he needs out of that.
Okay. You don't think it was for anything else? Like you don't think it was a real connection?
No,
No, no.
not even a little bit. I think he's a master manipulator.
Okay.
Just using the pieces on the board for what he's trying to achieve. But my question I pose to you, if you agree with that, is what's he trying to achieve? Like, what's his game plan?
Control? I don't know.
I
Because
know.
he seems like he's just content with drinking and telling people what to do.
Right?
I don't know. Nothing
It's
else. Like
it's weird. Like I feel like he had a big part of the beginning of the show, right? Like he was out there, he was doing stuff, and then like that was it. Like he was gone. Like and then he kind of just took a back burner to like the rest of it. Does that make sense?
it does, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't know what his ploy is. I'm telling you this. So what I love about The Witcher, and I know, well, at least this season. I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to follow because I'm a true Henry Cavill fan, um,
Okay.
and it breaks my heart. I can't see anybody else playing that character. He's very good at the brooding.
Apparently, he's hard to work with. Okay, that's what everyone says.
But we
So
never
who
know.
knows?
We never
Yeah,
know.
that's
They also said Dave Chappelle went crazy. Whatever.
yeah.
Let me get back on topic. um, but I think what the writers are doing really well is not being super obvious with their direction. So it's very hard to assume and make those connections on what characters want to do. I feel like in a lot of other shows you could see a mile away, you could see the plot twist coming, and it's like, oh, I saw that. This is kind of boring. Um, so they are still doing a very good job of keeping things close to the hip and making things very difficult to read. So
Yeah,
I don't know. To answer your question, I really don't understand what he's doing,
right.
but he's still an important integral part of the show because they keep showing him. So
Mhm.
yeah, that one
Something's
has
coming.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's something else.
The one thing in summary I'll say about the show, and you kind of already said a little bit, is the show writers, how their pacing that they've developed. Now I know it's not the games, it's not the books, but the pace that they've developed for the show has made it so season three, part one, has done a very good job of making me very anxious for part two.
It
Like,
has.
because like they didn't give you almost anything in part one, and they've left a ton of cliffhangers. So if you watched part one and you're not excited to see what happens in part two, then you need to check your pulse. Like that's just, I mean, lots going on.
Go back and rewatch it because there was a lot of action. There was a lot of storylines that weren't solved, and I have more questions than answers. So
Yeah,
that's always going to keep me interested and entertained.
for sure. Thankfully, we don't have to wait much longer. Season three, part two releases on Netflix on July 27th. So depending on when you're watching this, it may be out now. But this will be releasing this coming Monday, which will not be July 7th. So you still have a week and a half to go. So plenty of time to watch season three if you haven't yet. Part one, get ready for season part two of season three, and have a good time with it. That's all the time we've got, Nick. I appreciate you joining us on the show tonight. Any final thoughts before we let you go?
Oh yeah, I'm just excited and hopeful that they're going to bring another dragon into the storyline. I mean, if you watch the prequel, there was definitely a dragon.
Mm-hmm.
See it again.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Got to, right? It's The Witcher.
Awesome. Hey, Nick, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it, buddy. It wouldn't have been the same without you. Come back for part two, and we'll talk part two, and then a conclusion of the whole thing.
Let's do it.
The end of the Henry saga, we'll call it.
The end of my good time.
Aw, guys, if you don't and you like podcasts, definitely go check it out. It's a lot of back episodes, more to come. Poor Decisions. Co-host Nick Artis. Join us on the show today. Really appreciate you, buddy. Thank you so much, and we'll see you
Thank you.
next time.
See you.
Yeah.